Hey guys, Fran here. This is IGN Live here at E3 2010. We're streaming on YouTube and e3.ign.com, so go there. It's the best place for all the latest E3 news. It's up to the minute and it's 24/7. Okay, it's time to check your weapons twice because we're now going to take a look at Hunted. Here with us is In Exile's Max Kaufman and Matt Finley.
So, Hunted: The Demon's Forge. It's all about dungeon crawling, but you might be thrown off a little bit by how good it looks. Can you give me a little bit of background on what the goals were in this game?
The goals were just to make an incredibly rich world. You know, really make like Lord of the Rings in a game. To be able to go through that rich world and see and feel that world, that environment.
Cool. So, what we're looking at right now is a walkthrough of one of the levels. And I know this because I've seen the game before, but it's completely based around co-op gameplay.
Right.
So maybe you can tell me about the two characters that you'll be experiencing in Hunted.
Well, the two characters are Alara, and she's an elven huntress. She's a master with the bow, and Caddick, and he's a master with the sword. And that's kind of the coolness of the game, is the fact that the two characters are so unique. It's an action game, but it also has exploration.
And how does the gameplay differ between the two of these guys?
Well, like I said, Alara's specialty is with the bow, so that ripples throughout the entire game. The AI is built around the strengths and weaknesses of the character. So, for example, if Alara gets into a situation, a lot of melee guys are rushing her. Caddick can rush in and help her out, and she'll get to high ground. And then there's that dance between the enemies and the characters and their strengths and weaknesses.
So in any good dungeon crawler, there's always a balance between puzzles and combat. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how the puzzles work in this game.
Well, again, even with the puzzles, we put co-op elements in. So Caddick can do certain things during puzzles, and so can Alara. Caddick can do things like he can push objects or turn levers. Alara can light her arrows on fire, or she can cut ropes. So this combination of things allows us to make a really large amount of puzzles.
So maybe you can walk me through the combat sequence that's going on right now and what each character is doing. Okay. I know that it's possible for the characters to sort of enact a special power.
So Alara is actually in a situation where there's a down enemy, and she has the opportunity to take him out with an execution move. You'll be able to do that throughout combat. Caddick's move's really cool too. He grabs the skeleton's arm and slaps him in the face, and then cuts his head off.
So what you can see here on the battlefield are the makings of a cover system.
Yeah, so it is a cover-based combat game, and right now they're using a co-opable skill. Caddick used his levitation, and Alara is shooting the enemies from a distance. We have this, you know, the game is built around co-op, and we looked at a lot of co-op games, and we saw that they tethered the players together. So we do co-op at a distance where you can revive your partner, you throwing regen vials, or Alara has spells like Ice Arrow, Caddick has levitation, and then all of their other spells are co-opable as well.
So the thinking behind that being that in a co-op game where there's a lot of combat, sometimes they make you run across the battlefield to sort of take you out of the action and help your character by being next to them.
Exactly. And because of the strengths and weaknesses of the characters, it tends to make it more fun to be separated. You know, she can be up on high ground or in cover, he can be right in the battle. And then what happened there was Caddick just battle charged Alara. He used his lightning spell, and now she has a lightning sword.
So basically, it's like friendly fire, but in a positive way. He uses the spell that would hit an enemy, but he charges his target.
Exactly. You get a prompt. You get a B prompt, and then you can charge up your partner with, in this case, it was lightning.
So, just so the audience knows, we have two people playing this live right now.
Right.
Network. What if you don't have any friends?
You can play it single player with an AI partner. And you'll still, when you're playing the game, you're still leveling up both characters. They're both of your characters. So let's say you like to play Alara, and you like it when your partner uses levitation. Well, you can put a lot of crystals into levitation, and he'll use that.
So there is an in-game currency going on at all times?
There is, there is.
Cool, and I like how the currency seems to transfer over from the multiplayer. Do you still get to keep that currency if you take your character maybe to another game?
Yes, you do. Well, if you're playing cooperatively online, you still have your single player campaign. And at the end of playing, you have the option to go back to your game or progress from where you were, but you can still continue your single player campaign.
Cool, and of course, in any dungeon crawler, I have to ask about the weaponry. As the game unfolds, will you sort of find better weapons, better objects?
There's all kinds of new weapons. For Caddick, as an example, he's got axes, maces, and swords. And then there's a bunch of different, you can get flaming swords and lightning swords and other special abilities attached to the sword itself. Because there's also an exploration component. We've broken it down into small exploration areas and large exploration areas. And some of these exploration areas are off the path. They can be very difficult. So it's up to the player's style. If they like that, they can go and try and be challenged by the exploration and find great items.
Cool. I mean, for the purposes of the E3 demo, we're of course showing the frantic combat, but it's good to hear that there's elements of thought involved as well. So what's happening right here?
So what's happening right here is there's a number of spawners, and Alara had to go on that ballista, and she had to take out those columns. She collapsed the columns that were spawning the skeletons.
So a bit of destructible environment.
Oh yeah.
Played into that.
And then what they're coming up on right now.
You seem to be off book game today.
Well, the game also tracks. We wanted to get a little competitiveness between the two players, so the game will also track how they do. This is a change point. So even if you're playing online with your buddy, you might say, hey, I want to play Caddick now. And you come up to this point and you guys can switch, because the characters have unique abilities, so it makes a big difference.
So we can take a look at what Caddick's doing right now.
Yeah, Caddick's actually, I think we're going to see some of his melee as he comes up here. We've got a pretty robust melee system, and you can see some of his combos that he's going to do right now. These guys are called War Guards. They're some of the first enemies you meet.
We've been firing from afar for most of the game as Alara, but now we're getting up close and personal here.
Shields.
And can you talk a little bit about Caddick's shield? Because I know that plays into his upgrade system a little bit.
Right. Well, the way we look at the shield, it's like ammunition for melee. The shield will degrade and actually break apart, and so will enemies. So you want to keep looking for shields. You have to keep upgrading them, and it's going to be a constant challenge.
Great. Well, thanks for giving us a look at Hunted. It looks pretty excellent, especially for a dungeon crawler. It's really nice to see something that's really flashy and very impressive graphically. This is something I think a lot of people are going to get into, especially with the co-op play. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Back to you, Fran.
Thanks for the look at that, guys. It's such a happy, colorful game. It looks great, though. Thank you so much. So now it's time to take to the high seas and say hello to a mighty pirate. Head to the Three-Headed Monkeys, Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. It's coming up next.